everyone, welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is episode number 73. I'm Bethany, this is Sparky, and this adorable little lion is Brooklyn. Oh my god, you're so cute.
I hope they never cut his hair.
I know, just sit here and look at you for the whole time. Okay,
this dog needs to be brushed out 4 times a day. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Twice. No, he's not kidding, just twice.
He's running from you, Bethany.
Cute. Yeah, he's a little nervous. Especially me having to get loud and announce us and everything. I noticed you didn't get loud. Is it because you're holding him?
Well, if I had, he'd probably be in Ricky's lap right now, not mine.
Probably. Okay. All right, let's get started. We've got a good question from Sound Grace. Sound Grace says, I have a 16-month-old Cavapoo, so we're talking like a little over a year, Cavapoo, female, Luana. That's a really pretty name. Luana. Yeah, I like that. She's been destroying certain items if I forget to put them out of her reach before I go to work. They're cork coasters, shower puffs, tissues. When I'm home, she won't touch some of these things. Sometimes she'll pick something up and run away from me. I ask her to stay and leave it, but she doesn't listen to me once she has them in her mouth. Is she ever going to leave them alone when I'm not home? If I keep practicing, leave it when I am home. We'll get to that. She's very food motivated, so if I use a treat, it works really well. She won't touch it if you have a treat, I'm guessing, yeah. But if I don't use a treat, she just tries to be the fastest at getting it. Please help me, thank you. Okay, Sound Grace. For Luana, 16 months old, in my opinion, and also in his opinion, is way too young to leave a dog out unsupervised when you're going away to work. Now, I know there are some puppies out there that can do it. I get it. But to me, when I read what you wrote, it scared me a little bit. A bathroom at least has, a little bit less. If you keep everything off the floor, they can just chew the cabinets. But truly, it's so risky, guys. And Sound Grace, she's probably already figured this out, but just for everybody else out there, it's so dangerous. Your dog could get into a chip bag, some bag from a store that you left under the bed that you didn't realize. It could ingest something, and then it costs $3,000 in pain and rehab to get it.
If you get to them quick enough.
If you get to them quick enough to get it cut out of them. It's so risky that it is not worth it at all. So guys, please be crating your dogs for 1.5 to 2 years minimum. Those, in my opinion, are the easier dogs. Those are the easier dogs. So honestly, we're going to answer all of your questions, but at the end of the day, we're both going to say the same thing. That dog has to be in crate when you leave. It is crucial. Do not put that stress on your mind. Did I leave something out? Did I leave this out? I got to make sure I put everything up before you go to work because it's
what was the age?
Too much.
16
months, so a little over a year.
Most dogs that are anywhere between 10 months to a year, Bethany might say 8 months to a year, can stay in the crate for about 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
So if you're gone for an entire workday and you don't think things stay in there that long, Rover is a really great service. You can call them, and most time they'll do a check-in where they'll come over. It's like $15-20 for them to take the dog out of the crate, give them a potty. And then literally put them back in. They're there for 15-20 minutes. It might even cost less than that. But I know a lot of our clients that are they're in the city that do that because they just can't come home for their lunch. But even if you can't do that, most dogs, he wants you now.
Let me try it.
Most dogs will actually be able to stay in the crate for a longer period of time. So 8-9 hours should be no issue. Older dogs, over a year old.
Yeah.
You giving him kisses?
I was listening. He was sniffing me. I was letting him sniff me. He's a little nervous.
Something's in his ear. Or is that just
That's
his ear?
food. He's got food.
He's got food all in his beard.
He needs like a headband when he eats. They do that for like basset hounds and stuff. They have these little things they put
the ears.
Over their ears, yeah.
Sparky 2019.
Okay, so to address the other stuff is what I'd really like you to think about when it comes to will your puppy ever be able to be out? Never until they stop playing chase with you. Yeah. There's no respect there, and they've turned it into a fun game of you chasing them down. So until that gets resolved, you know, nothing else is going to work. And I've told this story before, so I really will make it super quick. But my German Shepherd, Dakota, she was 3 years old, and we were or 2.5, and we were just weaning off of crate. She was a hardcore chewer. And I walked into my bedroom to find her lazily gnawing on the semi-new wood shelving.
And watching her as she was doing it.
Yeah, just looking at me gnawing on it. There's a need there for dogs to do some of that stuff. Tissues are a big one. The cork you mentioned, any natural element, it's done for. They pee on it, they chew it up. And
we also too tend to see an escalation eventually where you might try to take it out of their mouth and they start biting you to keep it.
Yep.
So it sounds like you're not there yet, but it can.
It can create guarding. When you have to go get stuff out of your dog's mouth, it creates guarding. When you're always using food, the dog's not learning anything. So what do you do? Okay, so let's get to the point to what do you do. For me, with Dakota, I started being like, okay, I gotta be even more strict about boundaries in the house. I started doing more blocking. So instead of saying no and raising my voice or popping a leash or doing a pet corrector or something like that, or redirecting to a toy, which doesn't teach the dog anything, is I got in front of her and wedged myself between her and the cabinet, and I walked into her. I said no, calm, like just no.
Firm, unemotional.
Yeah, very non-emotional. And I made her give space from the cabinet. And I moved into her. And then I had to set her up, actually. This became a habit, and so I put a camera on her. You can also just use like an iPad to your phone, you know, like not Zoom, but Skype or Face app or whatever they've got. I don't know, if you don't have a camera, go get a baby monitor or something. But anyway, you can keep an eye on them, and then that way I can say no through the monitor and then get up, walk in, and reinforce giving space. Now when it comes to dropping something, what you're going to do is you're going to have your dog drag a leash around in the house.
I was waiting for that.
And you're going to, she's going to take off, and you're going to calmly, you're not mad, you're not running, you're going to calmly follow her till she kind of corners herself. And she might run around you and just be like, crap, and go and kind of corner her again. Now, you're not close to her. You're not like super close. You're several feet from her. And then you're just going to find the edge of the leash and step on the end of the leash, not grab the leash next to their face. Sorry. I know you're nervous.
And create fear, and that might even create the reaction to want to snap at you.
Yep.
Because you're a
it's
threat.
Emotional. It's emotional. You're going to just grab the end of the leash, and you're going to kind of maneuver it and do a little bit of pressure straight up. Have her drop it first. Stop trading stuff for food, and stop using leave it. It's not going to work. It's already in their mouth. They're not going to leave it.
And when she said you're going to put on the pressure, you're literally going to hold a gentle pressure. We're not lifting them 2 feet off the ground, 4 foot off the ground. It's just literally pressure, hold, wait. And eventually they're going to get bored, because the whole game of grabbing that thing was you running after
fun.
them.
It's the emotion.
And when you eliminate that fun, you eliminate that game, they're like, well, this isn't fun. They spit it out. And while they've spit it out, you don't let the leash down because they'll go for it again. You put your foot on top of the item, and I even like to slide it back towards myself, keep my foot on it, and then relax the leash. And now, what did Bethany say about Dakota and then that cabinet?
Blocking.
She's gonna block the item that she's got under her foot with her other foot.
If I'm in a corner, I'm gonna bring the item and the dog out of the corner. If I'm not in a tighter space, I am going to make the dog give space. I'm gonna get in front of the item and make the dog move away. If thank you, kisses. If I'm afraid that the dog might still get the item, if they're small especially, they're very wily and they can get around me, I'm just going to hold the leash out and away from me as I move in and make the dog give space. And you'd think I'm done, but I'm not. If you really want to work on this issue, you're gonna do proofing. Then you're gonna walk into the center of the kitchen or something, and you're gonna do a downstay, and you're just gonna drop a Kleenex. You're gonna pretend blow your nose, crinkle it up, drop a Kleenex. The dog goes for it. No, move in, make the dog give space. Then I'm gonna put the Kleenex right in front of the dog's face, all on the ground. You gotta proof stuff. Place is better to do this to start.
And you gotta find the intensity of which to go for the item. If it's super intense,
leash.
You're not waving it, you're putting it from a distance, and you're building up to that point.
Yep, that's true. And then you want to work on recall. This is where you can use food again. You want to recall your dog from place past the cork and the paper towel and all the things. Recall them, to you. And they're not allowed to go for those things. Little tug on the leash, no. Come, good, food. And so you're going to just mix in all these things of proofing, and maybe in 3 months, you can trust it might be a little bit easier. But you've got to take all the fun, all the adrenaline, all of that out of it.
I have one more thing I want to go over before we move on, last part of it. You mentioned that you do leave it when it comes to things on the ground. So I just want to ask like a question, then give 2 different answers for it. Are you ever going to want her to pick up the tissues or the coaster or the things that you're saying leave it for? Because if you say leave it, that means nuance, meaning they can get it sometimes, and leave it means you want them to leave it alone. Or is this an item that you never want them to pick up, of which only say no? Leave it means that there's an option later on. No means you leave it, or see what I did there? You don't touch it. You don't touch it whatsoever.
Now, while I totally agree with him, maybe you taught leave it like a no. Maybe you've never done food work with leave it and then given them the food. If you've always kind of taught leave it like a no, then it's not as big of a deal. But most people don't, in our experience. Most people will be like, hold food, leave it, dog backs away, and then they get the food or the item, or they use leave it with the toy, and then they eventually get the toy. And so,
I want to play devil's advocate.
Okay, it depends on how she taught it.
No, I agree. I actually agree with you on that one. Surprised me.
Okay, then what's your devil's advocate?
So it sounds like your leave it doesn't have value. And if that is your no, that means your no doesn't have value. But you could recondition a no instead of leave it and re-give. You can give value to the no in place of leave it.
In the way that we were talking to you about.
So like if you taught it from the get-go, you taught it the way we just told you to teach it, then you could use no, and you could start that today. Watching this live, you go say no after, and you redirect, pick up leash pressure, guide them away, do your body blocks and all that. You're empowering your no, even though leave it isn't working. It's 2 separate commands.
All right, cool. You want to do one of your short ones?
Yeah, the shorties. Ooh, I looked at light. I can't see anything.
Look how cute.
12-week-old Aussie Doodle, Aussie Collie. Ooh, Bethany's favorite.
Can you go ahead and take him now? He's a little nervous. I think he's had his fill. Okay, we got to get a close-up. Oh my gosh. He would be Instagram famous. He's a little nervous. Okay.
12-week-old Aussie Collie will not stop nipping and biting, especially when overtired. Bethany, go! Aussie Collie, Bethany's favorite. She loves her Aussies and her Collies.
What did you expect? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's an Aussie and a Collie.
I'm sure you did expect that.
Aussie for jumping, Collie for biting.
I'm just teasing. No, the Aussie too, you dork. All right.
Collies bite more.
Do they?
Oh, way more. Are you serious?
How do you know?
Because I train enough Aussies here, and I don't train that many
Aussie
Collies.
puppy versus Collie puppy. You think Collies bite? They're herding dogs. They all bite.
Aussies jump more.
Okay. Anyway, you gave it to me. Leave it to me.
You asked me questions. They were open-ended, not closed.
Okay, especially when overtired. Yes. Okay. So what I want you to think about a few things. Obviously, the breed is bitey. They communicate with their mouth. They're bred to do that. But it is your job to teach them when it's okay to bite, when it's not okay to bite. That's how it works with herding dogs. You can bite the sheep in this situation or the cattle, but you have to stop when I tell you to stop. That's why they're bred, they're bred to bite and for humans to get control over their instincts, okay? So I just want you to think of it like that. I'm framing, okay? But anyway, 16 weeks old, yeah, it's gonna bite everything. There are so many things you need to do. Okay, 1, my brain is going on fire. I love these questions.
Oh, I know. We got 6 more, so rapid fire.
Number 1 is you need to do slower things. Stop playing with your Australian mix so much, and you need to do like a third play compared with obedience training and then compared with calm mental work obedience training. Okay, what does that look like? So I had a crazy little Chihuahua mix puppy, and she's nuts and nervous and all kinds of issues. And so I'm trying to teach come. And so she goes out on the lead to a piece of food. I put some food on the ground, and then I go come and I rock back, and boy, she loves that for food because the rock back is super engaging. She runs over to me, so I build that focus and that drive. Sit good. That is what everybody is doing for puppy training, and it is wrong. It is ruining.
You're ruining your puppies.
You're ruining your puppies.
That's her phrase.
You knew what I was gonna say. Okay, so I do that with her 5 to 8 minutes out of the 15 minutes that I'm working with her. I start in a way that creates engagement and I finish slowly. Then we just go to calm turns. Let's go. Sit. Good. Pause, pause, pause. Reach and bag, food. I mean, at 16 weeks old, this dog should be doing like 10 obedience commands for every piece of food. And then maybe a couple pieces of food in a row, and then another 10 turns, and stop and sit calmly.
Oh, you could probably get that with an 8-week-old Aussie Collie.
Yeah, that's true. And then place work. Have you taught place and taught your dog how to stay in place with body blocking? Okay, blocking is a very natural part of how they learn. Like, hey, go on. She went to. That's blocking. They understand. No, I don't want to say good. She'll come back. Shut up. So it's just no and go away. I don't want you right now. The way you teach that is with place. And then Dakota, come, yay, hop. What is your affection? I'll let you have the next one. Hop, 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 hop. There we go. What does your affection look like with this dog? Because if you're like this, yeah, you're a big softy and you're gonna get the bejesus bit out of you. Your affection needs to be good girl. Look how slow. Can you guys see how slow my hands are moving?
Your dog should be melting into your touch rather than amping up and getting more excited.
I'm not doing this, even though she does love that. She's itchy. If I was going to scratch her, it's like this. And then if she's calm, then maybe I go to the head. And look how slow my hands are going. And then any mouthing at all, I freeze and I kind of have a firm grip. And then when they stop mouthing me, I go back to slow massage. Focus on the body, the chest, the shoulders, the body before the head. You may not be able to pet that head for the next 6 months. I don't know, because it can be very triggering to go and bite a hand. Anyway, I hope some of that should be 90% of your affection. 90%. And the only excitement that they should really experience with you is, good girl, is working on recall. Come, yeah, good job, food. Sit down, good. You know, that's really it. Calm crate patterning. Look up, go to YouTube and type in dog meditation. Okay, do that for me. And let's see, what else? There, that's your head start. Okay, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Just because we're a little bit low on time, I want to combine multiple of them.
Okay.
So
you gotta do all the names though.
I'm gonna do all the names, just for you. Dakota's very happy she came to work today.
Yeah, she.
All right, we have Gary the Mini Dude. Welcome back, Gary. It's been a minute. 8-month Goldendoodle lays down when he sees other dogs on his walk. Treats doesn't work. Help. And we also have another one. My 6-month-old Golden does great when it's just me and him, but as soon as he sees other people, he gets excited and won't listen to me.
No.
How do I fix it?
No. You guys answered that last week for TikTok. There's a follow-up comment about it here.
Okay, never mind. We're sticking just the one. Then.
Dakota, come. I'm gonna use Dakota again. Okay, so even if your dog is on harness, I lied.
Yeah, I thought I was getting this one.
I lied. Even if I'm just gonna give him a practical, and then you can go into all your spiel. So your dog lays down. First, you want to make sure you're practicing pressure and release, whether it's harness or slip leash. And
slip leash for this.
You can do it sometimes on harness too, but we do prefer slip leash. Okay, so say your dog is stalled. Well, you want to practice pressure to food in the house. Have your dog lay down and then do pressure forward. Actually, it should be a little lower than that. So you'll bend down a bit and go come, and then release pressure food. So you practice that so they learn how to give into pressure. But then when they really lock onto something, you're gonna give them a tug and release. It's like you're just kind of checking him, but you can't do it from a tight leash. Sorry, Dakota, she's a good girl. You're gonna get that stall and that tight leash, and you have to physically give slack and be like, let's go, tug and release. Good girl, yeah. And then start walking, like you mean business, let's go. A good idea is to do that in turn directions. So instead of trying to make your dog go forward where they stalled, do the tug and release, like back up and do the tug and release in the opposite direction. And then sometimes just backing up will engage your dog and unlock them as well. Okay, do you have anything else? I thought that was really good. But do you have anything else?
Yeah, it's great. You took every part of it.
you can have the next one.
No, I'm going over this one again, just because you get put in my court.
Okay, not too long.
I'm going to spend a week working this dog inside, not strictly because the 8-month-old dog will need its
8
exercise.
months.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Not 8 weeks.
So I'm gonna spend a week working this dog inside with pressure on. If this is the dog, back and to the side, almost like at a diagonal angle. And then when he gives in the pressure, I'll give him food. And I'm gonna do this to build up the understanding of what I want outside. During that week of me doing this inside,
So basically what he's saying is your pressure is never directly over the head or back along the spine. It's always to the side.
Thank you, Bethany.
Like a horse. You're welcome.
When you go outside, for that week that you're practicing inside, just avoid all dogs on your walk. And I know that's not always the easiest thing to do.
Try.
But if I see a dog in the distance, I'm already bubbling out and trying to go around a couple cars to put space between. Because your dog isn't going to learn this in 1 week. You're going to have to practice it. And then you practice that leash move outside of your house, in your front yard, sidewalk in front of your house. Him seeing dogs from a distance, looking and then redirecting with pressure. He gives in the pressure, you give in as well, show the food and walk in the opposite direction.
What that's gonna do that I kind of forgot to mention is it's gonna make you number one. Like you've gotta practice in easier scenarios, like low to medium distraction at the most, where you can catch them early to make you number one.
I'm probably also gonna stop feeding meals in a bowl, and I think I'm gonna put all those meals in a training pouch and take them on my walk with me. So I'm not giving one kibble at a time, I'm giving a handful of kibble.
It'll probably take about 3 days for the hunger to build up for that to work. So you're just feeding
You're not
your
starving
dog.
your dog.
You're just feeding your dog when they're hungry enough to work out of your hand. And if they're not hungry enough, they'll do it the next day.
Yep. So they might skip a few meals. That doesn't mean you're starving your dog. It just means you're building an appetite in the situation that you need it.
To work for food.
Yes.
All right, go.
All right, next one is Chanel
Oh,
What?
yeah. No, nothing. I thought you were reading the wrong one.
Chanel Duplessis. This is?
This is yours. This was totally
Duplessis.
yours.
How do I control bad barking?
Go!
I need age, I need breed, and I need situation.
So let's
So I don't have
pretend-
any of that. It's mine.
So let's pretend.
Sit back. Sorry. So let's pretend, and we're gonna make up a situation. So I have a 5-month-old dog, so not a little puppy, but also not an adult dog yet, kind of hitting some stages of adolescence, and it's in my house, and they hear a sound like someone walking by with a dog, and they start barking and popping off towards that. One, a dog that barks, a dog that jumps, barks, pulls, bites, whatever it is always going to be on leash inside my home, and I'm going to specifically work on those habits. Dog barks, I go pick up leash, pressure back into the side, so not down the spine, but to the side of it, and I'm gonna create that tension. When my dog disengages, good, move away, and again, that's not the end of it. We have to proof them. Go back, turn away again, go back, turn away again. If food helps, awesome, use it.
Only use the food when the ears aren't super hyper focused on what they were wanting to bark at or barking at.
Could you?
Nope.
You could not help yourself.
Wait till you get the turn and the ears soften a bit, then they can have food.
But I'm not going to use food if they won't take the food. I'm not going to be shoving food in my dog's nose.
Well, of course not.
To try to, no.
You can't make a
you
dog
say
take
that,
food if
but every owner you see at the park that does positive reinforcement, come on, take the food.
Okay, stop making fun of
We
me.
are not compromising. We are literally doing the routine of turning away multiple times until you can gain some focus and they want to take food, and then food becomes another resource for you to use.
Start strong to get the attention and then add in the positive reinforcement.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, you don't get it back. You don't give me a single question.
Go ahead, look at the next question and see if you want to do
You
it.
can read that one.
I can do it.
No, I don't
We'll
want
be here for like
I don't
15
want
minutes
him
while I
to do
try
it.
to paraphrase it.
Okay, all right, Sally. I have a novel that I'm going to go
You're
through.
calling me Sally. I was like, that's rude.
Yes, okay, I'm not going to get into that. All right, so please help. I have a 6-month-old long-haired miniature dachshund, Mash. That is adorable, Sally, Mash. We're struggling sleeping in crate, him sleeping in crate. It was going well, and then we spent the weekend away, and he stayed in bed with us. Woo! You can't do that under 1.5 years, 2 years old sometimes.
That's why they make travel crates.
He's lacking emotional maturity. Don't worry. That's actually happened to me before too. It's happened to so many people. Okay. He then took a couple weeks to retrain to sleep in his crate again. That's a lot. Like this little bugger, man. He's now 6 months old, wakes up 2 to 3 times per night. We take him out to potty, put him right back in. He mostly settles well. But you're still taking
6 month old?
But you're still taking him out 2 to 3 times per night. Apart from the last few weeks, he's been waking up 4 or 5-ish, not settling. I usually get up at 6. Let's see, he wakes at 4 or 5 and he can bark for a really long period of time. What are we doing wrong? He can even bark for hours. He follows me around constantly when I'm home and isn't bothered by my partner. Sally, I'm so glad you put that little nugget in there. Sparky and I are gonna tear it up. Okay,
Isn't bothered by my partner?
Isn't bothered by my partner, so it's relationship.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting tired and frustrated. I bet you are, hun. This crate is perfect for him. It's perfect size, covered on 3 sides, downstairs in the living room. Let's see. He can sometimes hear us probably when we move around. Do I need to move the crate? So there's a lot to unpack
I want
there.
the first part. You get the second part. I want the first one.
I get whatever I want, but you can go ahead.
All right, 2 to 3 times per night. To give you an idea, I do that for a puppy that is 8 to 10 weeks old, not anything above that, because most puppies that are above that can sleep about at least 5 to 8 hours overnight. So 2 to 3 times, that's a bit excessive.
So you gotta stop. You gotta stop letting
You
it
also
out.
probably need to find an earlier time to eliminate your water the previous night, especially if you're teaching a new habit, which your dog is not used to. They're used to potting multiple times at night. So 1, if you eliminate water at 9 p.m., you eliminate water at 7 p.m., maybe even 6 p.m. And then I'll give a final potty before I go to bed.
3
Not
hours.
when he's ready,
3
before
hours.
I go to bed.
3 hours before bed. And a lot of people do skip that. They're like brushing their teeth and cleaning up and getting ready for the next day. And the dog is in crate, but you need to take the dog out last.
And think about that's your
thing.
last couple hours of sleep. So
Yeah.
him waking up at 4 or 5 a.m., that's now 7 p.m. because you got an extra 2 hours of him going out for potty.
I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand that. I didn't explain that very well.
You get what he means, right? Okay, so
I don't think anyone did. That didn't make any sense.
No, listen to everything up until that last line. So 3 hours before bed, no water, and then just see how that goes. And yeah, he's got to stay in his crate. I would actually suggest trying something. Try having the crate in your room when you go to sleep. Honestly, I do not want to have to get up and go and deal with the dog and tell them no, or just ignore them and have to deal with neighbors if you live where we live.
I agree.
I would rather have my sleep disrupted with the puppy right by me, and I can be like, no. And see
The crate, not the dog.
The crate, not the dog, and see if that works. Just
I also like that too for the daytime crating because I don't
Firmly.
want my puppy in the living room with me during the daytime.
That's true.
That's when they should be in the bedroom.
If the puppy's with you during the day, that's bad. But anyway, and you should have a day crate rotation.
Yep.
Which leads
Absolutely.
to
That's her next
the
part.
next part, yeah. So, but anyway, a firm tap, hey, knock it off. Maybe that's enough to just stop
crate,
it.
not the dog.
Like try the crate, not the dog. Just try it. You know what? Who knows? You need to go to YouTube and look up dog meditation, and hopefully a video or 2 will pop up about calm crate patterning. Okay, so there's that. And you need to do that before bed and during the day, 5-10 minutes before you put him in there for his time during the day. My problem here, like what I see being the problem is, and I know you said, I've skipped it, but she mentioned that she didn't mind if he did jump up in the bed with them around like 6 a.m. or something, but no,
That's
not
all
right
he
now.
looks forward to.
Yeah, you need to do 6 months hardcore and then maybe, well, I don't know. I want the puppy to be 1.5 to 2 years old. So a year of really strict, and then maybe he's mature enough to be able to join you in the mornings. Because we're dealing with a teenager, a really young teenager. You've got
Pushy teenager.
Yeah, you've got 2 years of teenager before you reach some maturity where you can start to blur the lines. There's no blurring right now. But my issue here is he's not bothered by my partner, but he follows me around like crazy. This is a relationship issue. You need to teach him not to follow you. So you have to be able to say no with, and the best way to do it is just with body language. And instead of trying to tell you to block your dog and not let them come through the hallway with you and teach them to wait as you walk away, it's not stay, it's body language, it's energy. Instead of me trying to explain that, go teach place. Because if you look up trainers that teach place with on harness or slip leash, like either's fine, and they do lots of repetitions. They might even use food, although for calmer training, 6 months old, you probably don't need to. You should teach leash pressure on and off. Then you work on blocking. So cots are great for this. You have this nice cot, and when the dog steps off, you move in and then guide the leash with an arm back and you're not going to the side. You're actually having him kind of back up onto planks. You move out again, he steps off, no, and you move in. So you're teaching him how to respect your space again, because I demonstrated this earlier. Sorry, I'm gonna, Dakota, good girl. Good job. Now, this is gonna seem mean, but I'm just doing this for demo. All right, that's enough, go on. See, just a little body language. Achoo.
She's pouting in the corner.
Stop it. She's not pouting in the corner. She's just going to go lay down. Great, really smooth. Okay, anyway, you're gonna see some pouting because your dog is not used to it. What did I used to have to do? I had to stand fully up and make her give me space when she would invade it all the time. She's a super social dog.
And by the way, we mention that because you are going to see that. It's not depression. It's not sadness.
It's pouting.
It's pouting, and it's just basically you're saying, well, I've had this, he or she, whatever it is, I've had this for so long, and you're changing the routine, which is going to seem frustrating to your puppy.
Someone asked, do you find that movement in your sleep wakes up your dog? Absolutely.
But they'll get back to sleep eventually.
Absolutely. It does. They get used to it just like anything else.
Perfect.
All right. Are we good?
You don't want to go over playpen at all for this little dog?
Why would I go over playpen?
On the times that you don't want your puppy following you and you can't
It's just
keep
gonna
control.
cry. It's just gonna cry.
Or you could do a tether, you could do a tether to
It's
place.
just gonna cry.
You have a couple different options.
She's gotta do some work first.
Even that, if you cannot have every second with your puppy to work on the training, work on the place.
He's in crate.
In the crate, and you want to bring him out and eventually get him to exist around you, I do also teach either playpen or a back tie, a tether to place, or something firm and strong. And yes, you may get some whining, you may get some crying.
Whining?
But I'm going to do my 3 strike rule to work through that. And it may not be an exact version of it.
It's 132. You gotta stop.
Killed me.
It's a 3-strike rule for a 6-month-old?
I'll use it for any dog. I use it for 5-year-old dogs if I need to.
So what he's saying is just that, you say no, maybe you jiggle the playpen, and then...
you disagree with behavior you don't want to see.
And then eventually, if it gets to be too much, you calmly pick them up and put them in crate, which is definitely something you can try. But that's just for your sanity. It doesn't really teach the dog how to be quiet. But it's definitely for your sanity. I would just go straight to more crate rotation from the beginning. But you can definitely try it. You can definitely try a forced settle on a tether or something like that too.
Please respond to our answer, and
Sally, please.
I'm very curious what your results are going to be for next week.
Follow up with us. We'll see you guys next week. Same time.